Up to this point, we've only been processing a single chain of video going into an image with some post effects. What we'd like to be able to do is to branch the processing so we can have multiple copies of the feed with different effects applied and composited back in. I'm going to demonstrate how to do that. So I'm just going to delete these links to these post effects for a while to make them inactive. So again, to do that, hold Shift and Control and left click on the link. There we go. So my video source coming in here, I want to take a copy of it, and I'm going to use a video null to do that. A video null is a node that just takes a copy of the parent in the chain. And you can see the link that I've created here. I go from the output of the source into the input of the video null, into the parent input of the video null, like so. And that creates a processing chain. And when I expand out, you'll see that the video null is exactly the same size as the parent, and it contains the same image as the parent. What happens when processing is applied to that? Well, let's try and attach the color correction to this null. So now you can see that the video null has been color corrected, but the output on the screen is still coming from the original node, so it's unchanged. What if we apply the color correction to the video source? Well, now the video source is being processed and the video null takes a copy of the processed source. And adding additional effects to this, you see that the effects only apply to the null. If we want to make the null rendered on the image 2D, then we would unlink the video source from the image 2D and link the video null instead, like so. So this actually gives us a chain of video processing, a compositing chain. And as we're demonstrating here, different effects can be applied to different points on the chain. So I'm just reordering my nodes for a bit of clarity. So we can have more than one video null as well. Let's add another one and link that one also to the video source and expand its input. And now we have a compositing chain where we have the video source coming in and a color correction is applied. And then one copy is taken to this video null and a glow is applied to that copy. And that gets rendered on the output. And on this copy, we have another copy which is unaffected but doesn't link to anything. So let's put some different effects on this second copy. I'm going to add an edge detect post effect and link it to this version of the node. So now my video null, one of them has a glow on it and one of them has an edge detect on it. But they're both separately being processed. And what I would like to do now is to render the second video chain on top of the first one. So I can do that simply by taking another image 2D and dragging that in and linking it to the root and linking my second video null into that image 2D's video input. And you can see that the edges are being rendered on top. So the contents of the second video null are being rendered on top of the contents of the first one. And if we do a little tint on that by changing the image 2D's color, you can see very clearly what's going on. And again, ordering has become important here. So the edges are being rendered after the glow. So the copy of the second video null is being rendered on top of the copy of the first one. And this order is again defined by the vertical order of the image 2D nodes. So if I drag this second image 2D above the first, the contents changes because the second copy is rendered on top. So this enables us to order and build up compositing chains of processing. Using two image 2D nodes to composite outputs is one way of working. But another way is to actually composite the video nodes together and then go into one image 2D output. So to do that, we use a video composite node, composite sources node, which I'll drag in here. And this takes one video node as a parent. So we link that like so. Let's expand this input. And it takes another one as an input, like so. And we see the output of that. It's blended the two together. So now I can unlink this image 2D and link the composited output into the image. And you can see they're blended together. And we have blending controls here, so we can control the alpha blend. And we can change the blend mode, so we can switch to a multiply or difference. And so on. So there's a large number of extended blend modes there, like in Photoshop. So this shows us splitting out a feed and bringing it back together again. Now, there's some other some other compositing options in Notch. Let's add a post effect to control the saturation of this image with a color correction. Which I will use as zero saturation. So that makes that black and white. Now, if we look on the video at the bottom of every video node, there are two inputs that are common to all of them: the effect mask and the alpha. So the effect mask and the alpha input are common to all video nodes. And the effect mask is used to control the amount that post effects are applied to the video node. And this now enables me to use another video or an image or a generated shape to control that mask. So let's try it with a generator. So generators can be used interchangeably with video nodes. So I can add in a gradient here and link this into the effect mask. And that will have a thumbnail as well. Let's change it to a radial and invert it. And you can see that the mask is blending the post effect in. So the stronger the gradient at each point, the more the post effect is applied. Make that clear. So that should be quite clear. There we go. And we can, instead of using a generator, we could also use an image or a video. So let's try the image. So if I'm just going to grab a source image from my directory. Let's grab this one. And you'll notice that when images are dragged and dropped into the graph, they also create video sources. So they create a video node just like video clips do. And we can drag that into the effect mask. And that will be masking the input as well. So these can be, generators, images, and video can all be used interchangeably in these inputs. Let's go back to the generator for now. And the second image input is the alpha image. So let's have a look at at the moment, our video nodes have, we can see the RGB very clearly, and we can preview that in the viewport using these buttons here. So if I take the edge detect image, for example, that I can hit the preview and viewport button, and it will show me full screen the contents of that video node. which is very handy when working in a deep compositing chain, like so. But I can also preview the alpha of that image in the viewport. So if I preview the alpha channel, you can see that the contents of the alpha channel for this node are white. That means that the alpha channel is just completely solid. Similarly here. But I can overwrite the contents of the alpha channel just by attaching a node to it, like so. So now if I preview the contents of the viewport, it's copied the contents of this input node into the alpha. And I can equally use a gradient for that or any other generators. And this enables me to control and set the alpha explicitly to something that I want to use. And you can see that it's having an effect on the output image because the image 2D is being rendered with a blend on. So the alpha channel is effective in the render as well. So now I'm going to demonstrate another way of generating alpha masks using color keying. So I'm going to actually start a new project here, file new. I'm going to import a different video clip. So import resource video, I'm going to choose this Shutterstock clip here and drag that into the graph. And once again, I'm going to create an image 2D node to render it. And once again, I'm going to link the output of the video into the input of the video node, the image 2D node. Now you can see this piece of green screen footage we have. And what we want to do is generate a mask from that green screen to get rid of the green background. So I'm going to create a video null, and that is going to take a copy of the original image. And let's expand those thumbnails out. And I want to create in this video null the mask where the green screen area is. And we have an effect for that. And it's under post effects, image processing, and it's called a key color mask. So I drag the key color mask effect and connect it to the video null. And this at the moment will composite its mask onto the alpha channel of the original, but I can get it just to output the mask as a black and white, like so. And at the moment, so this generates a mask based on how close the color of each pixel is to the key color. And seeing as my key color is black and there's no black in this video at all, the mask is not generating me very much. So what I want to do is pick that green color and use that as the mask color. So if I click on the color, it expands it out. And there's numerous ways I can set the color with this. So I can actually set it manually by dragging it around, trying to get as close as I can, which is not the best way. Or I can use one of the other options here. So if I click on the C icon, it brings up a color picker that enables me to manipulate the color in more detail and also type in values. If I click on the W, it brings up the Windows color picker, which is enables me to actually add custom colors and swatches. And finally, if I use the P, if I click and hold the P, it picks the color underneath the cursor. So I can just drag over to the viewport and it will pick for me the color under the pixel. And you can see the effect that it's had in the thumbnail of the image. It's given me a pretty good mask. And now I want to link that alpha channel back on to the original video's alpha. And there's again two ways to do this. I can map the mask onto the image 2D at render time just by going from the output of the video null. And you notice the image 2D has an alpha image input, which allows you to override the alpha channel with a different image from the RGB. I can link that in like so. And that achieves the result at render time without changing, but that hasn't actually changed the contents of the video source or the video null. It's only applying it at render time. And if I actually want to create a video node with the new image in, I can create a video null and parent it to the video source like so. And let's link that into the image 2D so we can see what's going on. And I can simply drag the mask into the alpha input of the video null. And that will copy it onto the alpha channel. And if I look at the contents in the viewport, the RGB is like so, and the alpha is like so. One of the advantages of this system is this mask is just an image, and I'm able to apply additional processing to affect it. So let's try pulling in the edges a bit. So I use an erode post effect, link that in. And as I up the iterations of that, you can see it pulls in slightly the edge of the image. So you can be very extreme about it or not very extreme. And if I wanted to soften that, I could add a blur. Let's link a blur in there. And parent that in. And that gives me the ability to soften the edge of that mask. So there we have it, color key masking. There's one other way of doing color key masks. We have another node called auto color key mask, which I'll link in. So if we unlink the original color key mask and link in the auto one instead, here to output mask, this node automatically generates the color based on by analyzing the background of the image. And if we show the color, you can see what it's trying to generate. It's trying to work out the best mask color. So that's useful in a stage environment where the background's a roughly solid color, but it changes with lighting. This node enables you to cope with those kind of dynamic situations much more easily.